All right, welcome. We're now going to talk about some stringing tools here today. So on my right are my gamma stringing tools that pretty much came with my stringing machine. And on my left here is a Babolat stringing tool kit. So we'll go over these ones independently. So we'll start off with the gamma ones. First tool I want to talk about is an awl, A-W-L. So what this all does is it allows you to basically go into a grommet of a tennis racket. You can dilate it up by pushing it all the way. You can also use it to help manipulate strings once you put it through the grommet. You can deflect it up or down just to kind of help direct things. It's just a useful tool that way. The next one I want to show you here is something called a Pathfinder awl. And what this does is functions the same as an awl. You can go through a grommet. But the reason why you would use this is if there's not enough space for a string to enter the grommet because of another string obstructing the opening, for instance. You can get this in past that string, and once it's in, you just pull back, and you have this opening that allows you to feed the string through there to create a track to pull through the grommet. And I'll show you that in the video here coming up when we go to the string machine. The next two things here are pliers. We have both a straight edge plier and a bent plier. And these would help with gripping the strings as you're stringing through the grommet. And these here are just some cutters for the strings. The gamma cutters are probably my favorite ones to use compared to the Babolat ones. They leave a very clean cut. They're good and sharp. Definitely the ones that I use the most. And this is a gamma starting clamp. You've seen this in my previous video, which I'll link in the description below. And essentially allows you to grip the string, release the clamp, and these springs will essentially give you a lot of holding force in the jaws of that clamp. What else I have is a gamma cleaning stone. And this goes into your clamp, and you could just essentially sand off or clean off the residue that's left from strings, which will most certainly be left behind as you're clamping down on the strings like this and pulling tension, etc. The other tool which you'll see in my other stringing video is this string straightener. The way it works is you just basically rub it up and down the string bed, and it just straightens the strings automatically for you. But I'll show you another tool here in the Babolat kit that can essentially replace that. So in the Babolat kit, we'll just go with some of the familiar things that you've seen in the gamma set that I have. So first of all is an awl. You can see here that it's very similar to the gamma awl. The difference is the Babolat one is a bit longer, and but the point is about the same. And another familiar thing you've seen, bent nose pliers, and the string cutters. Again, I find that the gamma string cutters cut better than these ones. And then the starting clamp, which you've seen in my previous video as well. Comparison to the gamma clamp, the head size is bigger on the Babolat, gives you a bit more purchase on the string, but the gamma one has 3 different springs versus Babolat's 2, and they both work very well for their purpose. And finally, a cleaning brush here, which you can use instead of the cleaning stone, is you can just use this to kind of rub into there to clean off that residue, and that way you'll have a good grip on your strings. Okay, now for some other tools that we have here that I didn't mention from the other set. First one is just the string cutter here. So this is a heavy-duty piece of equipment. Basically, you just go to the string bed and you can just clip off your strings. The old strings, when you're going to do a restring job on a racket, works really well for that. And the other thing here is this thing here called a cam action plier. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to tie your knots by using the leverage of this on the frame of the bracket, on the beam itself, and you could just do basically creates a fulcrum. You give yourself some extra leverage that way to tighten up your knots. And as you will see in my other video, I use a starting clamp to tie knots, but you could most definitely use this to give you that extra force that you want to make sure that when you're releasing the tensioner that you have as minimal tension loss as possible when you tie that knot. The last thing I want to show you here is this thing here that's called a setting off awl, or as I call it, string straightening awl. And what you can see here is the difference is it's a much larger caliber, larger gauge compared to the regular awl. And it's also rounded up top compared to the point here. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to straighten your strings after you're done your string job. And again, I'll show you how this works coming up in the next segment. Okay, so now we're at the stringing machine. We're going to demonstrate some of the tools on my son's Yonex Easy One. Fun fact, the vast majority of people, myself included before, used to say Yonex. And according to the manufacturer themselves, they pronounce it Yonex. And I was also someone who pronounced, as the vast majority of the population did, E-Zone. And according to their marketing, Yonex's marketing was actually to make this the Easy One. So EZ1 for power. So fun fact, Yonex Easy One is the way that it should be pronounced. Okay, so we have the racket set up, and you can see that my son had snapped his strings. I'm not going to string it right away, but I'll just demonstrate to you what some of the tools do. So the first thing I'll show you is the Pathfinder awl that I had mentioned, and that's this here. So we'll just pull this string out that snapped, and I'll just demonstrate here what it does. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is anytime you put an awl through a grommet is you want to lubricate it, and now you just use some chapstick. So easy enough to do, just pull some of that up in there. And just to show you what that looks like, so we'll just put this Pathfinder awl through the grommet, and you can see it come out the other side, right there. Ooh, almost went a little too far. And now you pull it back, and there's that opening. So let me just get a dummy string here, and then you can actually feed this right into the hole, and then you pull out the unit, and then this ends up on the other side. So that's how that Pathfinder awl works. Okay, all right, next we'll talk about the cam action pliers. So you can see that the broken string here we'll just use to demonstrate what you can do. So this just goes right through the grommet again. Just put this back as it was. And then, so to pull tension, as I had mentioned in the past, I would use my gamma starting clamp like this and just grip it this way, and that way it uses the gripping strength of the starting clamp, and then just my arm strength to kind of pull my knots. But with the cam action pliers, what you can do is use this here to create a fulcrum, and you can actually grip your string in here and then pull that way, as you can see. So either way, I mean, to me, I think the quickest way is just using the starting clamp because they're already there, using them. But you have this option as well, the cam action pliers. All right, and the last thing that I want to show you here is the setting off awl, which I also call the string straightening awl. So I could even just show you, just make some of these strings sort of messed up a little bit, right? And so what you do is you just kind of stab it, and you can see that you can just move the strings according to how you need them moved. And so you can actually look visually and see how straight those strings are. And because of its rounded end, that should be minimal damage to strings. So there you go. Those are the additional tools that I use, or that can be used, in addition to what I've used in that previous video when I was stringing that V-Core tennis racket. All right, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more in the future.